You used pepper spray and truncheons on American citizens. You did it here in Washington. You did it at Lafayette Square. You expanded to Portland. And now you are projecting fear and violence nationwide in pursuit of obvious political objectives. Shame on you, Mr. Barr.
Mr. Chairman, you've conflated two different things. The effort, like Legend, is to deal with violent crime that's committing on the streets of the city. Again, predatory violence like murder, shootings, which are soaring in some cities right now. That does not involve encountering protesters, as you refer to it.
That was from today's congressional hearing at which Attorney General Barr faced tough charges from Democrats, including Chairman Nadler, as you heard, who still does not accept the administration's charge that many protests around the country have devolved into uncontrolled riots. For more on that and the very latest on the new COVID relief bill, we welcome in Republican Congressman French Hill, who's on the House Financial Services Committee and the CARES Act Congressional Oversight Panel. Good to see you, Congressman. Did you ever think that we'd have a congressional hearing and an argument about what a riot is? I mean, people look at the video coming out of Portland, and there's very little question in most people's minds that what's happening at that federal courthouse is anything but a riot.
Look, Dave, it's great to be with you. General Barr was the statue in patience today, offering a calm demeanor in the face of all these charges from House Democrats. Look, there are two issues that General Barr talked about. First, where there's mayhem and rioting that's damaging federal property, including the federal courthouse in Portland. Federal authorities are protecting that federal property. That's their job. And secondly, like Operation Legend, working with the people in Kansas City and other urban areas to bring calm to a handgun murder mayhem that's shot up, no pun intended, over the last few weeks. Very dangerous times. I thought Bill Barr did a good job examining exactly what he should be doing.
But, you know, the two issues, I agree, they need to be separated, but they are related in one way. The Democrats are suggesting, or at least not rejecting the idea that police should be defunded, at least partially from what they are doing, and that's not going to affect crime rates or the rioting in the streets. And Republicans are saying no. The rioting in the streets and the rising crime rate are directly related to non-support for police.
Exactly.
Correct?
I agree. And defunding police is a terrible slogan. Bill Barr came to Little Rock with Senator Tom Cotton a few weeks ago, and we talked about how police need more funding. We need to set higher standards for police, and that'll come with better training, better rules, better procedures. We need to be advancing funding for our law enforcement agents, and we need to honor those 800,000 people that get up every day, put on a blue uniform, and protect us in our communities.
All right, Congressman, let's move on to the COVID relief bill, which you have oversight over. The Senate has come out with a plan, the GOP, which essentially pulls down the amount of money from the unemployment insurance, the unemployment bonus, if you will, from the federal government, from $600 down to $200, and then it would end up at 70% of a worker's last wage. Democrats are not accepting this. If there's no agreement by the end of the week, that $600 goes away completely, doesn't it?
It does, and the 20 million people who are out there still unemployed due to the coronavirus need our support in getting back to work. And we do that by maintaining our state unemployment payments, and I believe that we will reach agreement in the next few days, David, on some middle ground that allows some federal support on top of that. You know, when Harry Reid ran the Senate and Speaker Pelosi was in charge with President Obama, their idea of a great weekly bonus from the federal government was only $25 in the 2009 recession. So look, we need to have some replacement of wages here, but we've also got to have an incentive to get people back to work.
And finally, you know, there's a huge money difference between the Republican plan, which is $1 trillion, no small change, and the Democrat plan, which is $3 trillion. One of those trillions that Democrats want would go money directly to states and municipalities, $1 trillion for states and municipalities. Republicans say that money would basically go to cover up bad spending habits of Democrat-run states and cities. How is that going to end up?
Well, we've appropriated $1 trillion that went out to our states to support education and other COVID priorities, and we're prepared to do more for education. But I think the best solution for general state revenues is let's take the $150 billion that we gave cities and states in the CARES Act and give them more freedom, more flexibility to spend that money to help fight COVID and expand their ability to do that time-wise by eliminating the 12/31/2020 date. That's what we ought to do, and it doesn't require trillions more in spending.
Well, good luck. It's going to take a lot of diplomacy, Congressman. We appreciate you coming in. French Hill
David.
from Arkansas, thank you very much.